I'd been off restriction for over a week. The 4th of July parade and fireworks was coming up the next day, the best part of the whole summer, other than Daddy's visits home, which were almost as scarce as holidays. He worked down in the Gulf on an oil rig, 'cause all the jobs in Cayuga Springs didn't pay as good. We had to talk with letters, 'cause there wasn't a phone out there in the ocean. Sometimes he called from Biloxi when he got a weekend off, but that was long distance and cost a lot of money, so we had to talk fast, and Mamie hogged the phone, telling him all sorts of stuff I know he didn't care about. I did most of the letter talking between me and Daddy. He wasn't much of a letter writer, but he liked mine and said they always made him smile, so I wrote a lot. On July 3rd, I woke up with bees in my belly. As I put on my white Levi shorts and tied my red ball jets, I promised myself I wouldn't sass or do anything to make Mamie need to say a prayer. I couldn't risk missing everything, and that's what Mamie'd do. She'd ground me, 'cause she knew that would hurt way more than a wallop. Mamie always knew what punishment I most dreaded. It was like she could see inside my head. If I got in trouble now, I'd have to wait a whole nother year for fireworks. I took extra care in making my bed just right. I even made hospital corners on the bottom sheet. I zipped my PJs into the Tinkerbell pajama bag that Daddy gave me 2 Christmases ago and set it just so against my pillow, nice and neat. I even picked up the dirty sock I'd dropped last night on the way to the hamper instead of kicking it under my dresser with the others that Mamie thought the washer had eaten. Then I stood back and tried to look at my room through Mamie's squinty, work-checking eyes. A-okay. I felt good as I headed down to the kitchen, sure that she wouldn't find nothing wrong with my room today. Through the screen door, I saw her hanging a load of our pink bath towels on the line that ran from the back of the house to the corner of the garage. She had 2 clothespins in her mouth, her lipstick making a bright red O around them. She had on a yellow dress and flat canvas shoes that matched. Even this early, with no one but me and the squirrel in the backyard tree to see, Mamie took care about her appearance. She was always looking at magazine pictures of Jackie Kennedy and trying to fix herself up like her. Mamie even got a new haircut last year. Worrying about how I looked was one part of being a lady I wasn't looking forward to. Thank goodness I was only 9½ and still had some time left. With a quick glance to make sure Mamie was still busy pegging towels, I opened the bottom cabinet door and stepped on the shelf. Why she expected me to fetch the step stool all the way from the utility room every time I needed something from the top cupboard, when the shelf on the bottom worked just fine, was one of Egypt's mysteries. I got down my favorite bowl, Daddy's from when he was a kid. The picture on the bottom had faded so much you could barely see the cowboy and his lasso anymore. I poured myself a bowl of sugar-frosted flakes. They're great! And before I even got a spoonful to my mouth, Mamie came in the back door and said, "Good morning, Jane." The spoon stopped halfway to my face. Milk ran over the edge and dripped onto the table. "Starla," I said through pinched lips, but was careful not to look up at her, 'cause she was sure to think I had on what she called my defiant face. "We agreed yesterday to start calling you by your middle name," Mamie said, just as if it was the honest truth. "It's so much more suitable for a young lady." We hadn't agreed. Mamie agreed. I just stopped disagreeing. I started to say that out loud, then remembered my self-promise not to sass. "It's high time for you to start thinking about how the world looks at you," she said. "Your name is one of the first things people know." Mamie was real concerned over what people know about us. She stood up real straight and stuck out her hand like she was going to shake hands with an invisible somebody standing beside the sink. Then, in a prissy, high voice, she said, "How do you do? I'm Jane Claudelle." She switched back to her normal Mamie voice. "See how nice that sounds? Starla."